I am here with actor Jeff Lima, who has very graciously agreed to sit down with me for an interview. I very much appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So, why don't you tell me a little bit about when you first decided you wanted to be an actor, and what steps you took to carve out this path that you've been on?
Yeah, I guess as a child, I definitely knew that I wanted to pursue acting, but it wasn't until junior high school that I was able to formally train in theater. I remember joining the Tito Quinta Performing Arts Academy, and the theater head being apprehensive about taking me on. It was a small cohort of actors, probably 12 students, by audition only. But down the line, I was able to see why the theater head was apprehensive about onboarding me. It was definitely intense. We analyzed classical text, American classical text, but everything was rooted in either Stanislavski or the Meister technique. And I think it's great that 10, 11, 12-year-olds are rooted in technique that early because it's so competitive, right? And a big part of acting is how do I separate myself from the competition. And I think it's great to have that competitive edge when you're 12, right before high school, to be able to talk shop. You know.
So, once you got out of high school, what was your first professional gig?
Well, it was at the tail end of junior high school.
Okay.
There was a director and writer who visited our school because the junior high school did have a reputation for transitioning aspiring actors in junior high school to some premier performing art high schools in Manhattan. The director and writer were casting for a short film. I auditioned for it. I was cast in it. The short was later developed to a feature film, which earned Ryan Gosling his first Oscar. So it was kind of great walking into high school, having a supporting role under my belt in an Oscar-nominated film.
What was that first experience like for you, being on a set for the first time?
So a big part of it was just acting completely unaffected, but it was overwhelming, right? Hair and makeup, wardrobe, it's a whole nother world. But most importantly, coexisting or working alongside a working actor who would become an Oscar-nominated male lead, right? Watching his process, the entire 12 or 15-hour day shoot, Ryan stood in character, and I knew it was something I wanted to emulate.
And you also were part of a big HBO series called Show Me a Hero with Oscar Isaac. That's also another big name that you've worked with, who's also a phenomenal actor.
Yeah, so that project, they did onboard several great actors. Preparing for that role was different from any of the other work I'd done because John Santos, the character that I played in Show Me a Hero, was based on a real character who I believe is still serving his life sentence. So it really came down to how do I use my education from junior high school and high school? How do I use my education from the neighborhood playhouse and make this character the most authentic and truthful character that I could portray, right? And it started with reading the novel that the series was based from. Gathering the circumstances, defining what the character's objectives and motivations are, right, collectively, the given circumstances, to then internalize the character to, again, authentically portray what collectively is John Santos.
You were phenomenal in the project, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You also did an episode of Blue Bloods here in New York, which seems like a New York actor's training ground. Everybody seems to do an episode of Blue Bloods. How was that experience for you?
It was great. I mean, I equate, Blue Blood. Well, Law and Order is still on. I feel like, Jodie Foster, for instance, just a bunch of great actors had their start on, Law and Order. Right now, it's Law and Order or Blue Bloods. So I'm so happy I got to do Blue Bloods. And even though I have a body of work, so many people recognize me from Blue Bloods. It has a great following. That set was very distinct in that it just moves so quickly. There is no time for someone coming in not prepared and not ready to work and collaborate and share ideas. So that was definitely different in terms of the pace, the scope and pace of an episode.
How did you prepare for that fast pace? Did you know going in that it was going to be that way, or did you kind of get thrown in and be like, wow, this is faster than I'm used to?
Yeah, definitely the latter.
Yeah.
I think, how do you prepare for something that's moving so fast? As an actor, all you can do to prepare is just have your character defined, because you're being thrown these curveballs all day long on set, whether it's the pace, the camera's picking up coverage that you didn't know was being picked up, right? So I guess I wasn't prepared for the pace, but I did come in prepared in terms of just having defined who the character really is.
And then you went on to a major recurring role on Chicago Fire. What was that experience like? I know that film's in Chicago, obviously based on the title, but it actually films where it says it's located.
Yeah, that's right.
And you had a pretty big recurring role in that show. What was that like for you?
Yeah, so initially we were only supposed to appear in 2 episodes. So I'm super happy that it went on to be 3 and 4 and over several seasons. The creation of Leon Cruz, the character I played in Chicago Fire, I believe the episode was penned by Derek Haas. And initially the character Leon Cruz, he seems two-dimensional, but the character was written. There are a lot of nuances in the when you read the text, and so my job then became how do I play the subtext but not oversell it, right? The dialogue is all of the work, and then we see Leon grow for the better and for the worse, and his character is really fleshed out. And he's this at-risk teenager, but he really has a heart of gold, right? And so we watch Leon grow up, and Jill Weinberger, last we see Leon Cruz in season 6, she does a great job of bringing him full circle. We see him, and he's maybe not eloquently spoken, but he's educated. Whereas in season 1, he delivered his lines like bullets. Now he speaks with ease. So we definitely see Leon grow to be almost an asset to society. He's able to coexist with his peers, and he brings a lot more to the table now.
What project were you working on when you went from nervous beginning actor to, okay, I'm going to make a career of this. I'm not nervous anymore. I have full confidence in what I'm doing.
Every episode, every project is so different. No matter how confident you may think you are walking into a project, you're always met with something new. And it's something that you don't get in the monotonous, corporate America's 9-to-5 setting, which is why it's so rewarding, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I can't pinpoint a particular time in which I've walked on set knowing that I got this, because we're just met with so many new things. So I guess there may never be a time in which I'll walk onto a set and really feel in control.
Doesn't show in your work. Does not show at all.
Super appreciative to hear that.
What area of the entertainment industry, or what genre, do you feel most comfortable with? You seem to do a lot of drama pieces and dramatic work.
So maybe because my start was in drama and it was very theatrical. I do feel most comfortable with heavier content with drama. I'm not opposed to doing light work. In fact, I think we're moving in the direction of doing more lighter work. But in terms of what I fit, right now it's a little heavier, a little darker, and I'm okay with that. But I would love to explore something lighter and more comedic.
Now, What genre, you said you wanted to work into comedy. What do you think separate skill goes into that based on what you've already done now? What do you think you need to hone in on for your timing, that kind of thing?
Yeah. So comedic and more lighter work it is so the success of your comedic work, I think, is so based on your timing as an actor. Am I able
Absolutely.
to um, hit hit the lines with the appropriate timing? For that reason, it is my belief that comedic actors make the best dramatic actors. Right? If you're a comedian first, you're able to be a successful dramatic actor. Now, the opposite of that, I think we have seen dramatic actors do comedy, um, and it may be hit or miss. But I know with certainty that a comedian can always be a successful actor, a successful dramatic actor. For me, I have had training in comedy and such. I hope that I can do it successfully. The feedback I've gotten is okay. Now, can I sell it? That's for someone else to decide.
What type of project not behind the scenes, in front of the camera, have you not gotten a chance to work on besides comedy? Would you really like to delve into? Is there a specific kind of character, even if it's playing older? What are you looking for in that respect?
Leon Cruz in Chicago Fire, John Santos in Show Me a Hero. These are all very dark and urban characters. And I think collectively, my team, agents, managers, we agree that, okay, Jeff, you can do this, obviously. But when we last see Leon Cruz, he's a lighter energy. And I would love to explore that so much more, just being a lighter presence on camera. I'm able to do it,
Yeah.
but I'm patiently waiting and working toward getting the platform for that character that is lighter. Um, yeah.
You've had a beautiful career so far. All more good things to come. What has been the most challenging aspect for you?
We get to meet a lot of folks. We're always collaborating, always interviewing. Um, Growing up, I had a huge complex, right? Covering my face because I had crooked teeth, right? And so when I'm meeting new folks and such, I almost immediately do this thing. And so I have to make a very proactive effort to have my hands down by my side when I'm meeting new folks and collaborating with others. So I think that's been the biggest challenge thus far is how do I coexist with others, and not be socially anxious because of my smile, right? My smile looks different than when I was 13, but I still carry that complex.
Absolutely.
And so naturally, I'm inclined to cover my mouth,
Yeah.
right? So that's a challenge now. It has been a challenge, and I hope that as the years go by, that I'm doing this a lot less.
Speaking of the challenge of it, you're using your fame as a little bit of a platform to address bullying. What can you tell us a little bit about that aspect of your life and using your fame for positivity?
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be provided platforms to be a catalyst for change. So in the Bronx, for instance, I'm a co-founder or founding member of a summer camp and after-school program, and one of our biggest initiatives is anti-bullying. Right? I've seen firsthand what the implications of bullying could be years after that initial incident of bullying, and so I feel it's my responsibility to mitigate the chances of at-risk youth having to suffer the implications of bullying, especially in those areas in urban communities where we see very high rates of bullying.
That's very admirable that you've done that. What what are you working on now? I know it's filled me in a little bit of behind the scenes instead of in front of the camera. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so as an actor, you do have a lot of downtime between gigs, and a big part of being an actor is defining for yourself, what am I going to do in between gigs that'll keep me healthy as an actor, healthy and happy. Right now for me, I've positioned myself so that I'm able to finance short films, be they 20, 30, 40 minutes long. I've met a lot of folks from, prominent television and film programs who are super bright writers and directors, but their biggest hurdle is how do I get financing for my project? Under the banner of my new production company, I'm looking to finance 1 or 2 or 3 short films. And see where it goes. I definitely want to take these shorts to the short film circuit, and I've seen firsthand short films be developed into very successful features. And so right now I'm actually shopping around to maybe get 1 or 2 shorts to executive produce and fully finance.
Since you're already on the acting side of it, does it fuel your passion even more, or does it hinder you because you can say, oh well, I would have done this way, or or you're really collaborative with your actors?
Look at that. That actually makes me nervous because as an actor, I never like a director to show me how to play a character, right? And so taking my biases as an actor, I know with certainty that as an executive producer, I would never impose my exact idea of how to play a character onto an actor. I might whisper this to a director, but I'll be sure to never let an actor know what exactly I have in my mind, right? Because if that's the case, then there's no need to collaborate, and if there's no collaboration, then why are we doing this at all?
Very good point. Going forward, what type of role do you have your heart set on? Would you like to do theater? Does that scare you, doing live theater? Would you like to do a certain type of film?
Yeah.
Would you like to write a film?
Gotcha. So theater is very intimidating. Only the greats do theater, in my opinion. And I feel most recently, a lot of the great television or a lot of the great film actors are coming back to the theater, and that's great. For me, right now, theater is not in the foreseeable future.
Okay.
But I do hope, again, to get more lighter work in an episodic, so that everyone can see me in a different light than that of Leon Cruz and John Santos and the Blue Bloods work.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, thank you so much for taking time to sit down for this interview. It's been really great, and very much appreciate your time.
For sure, thank you.